I think it's a good move. I actually thought that the Indianapolis Colts would be a better move, but now that I see exactly what the Rams are trying to do with Les Snead and Sean McVay, he becomes an expensive insurance policy because the two guys, as Adam mentioned, OBJ, they got money. They want to sign him. They still got money to sign him. Robert Woods is already under contract. Both those guys have ACL issues, so you don't know when they're going to come back. Then when you look at Cooper Kupp's already in line, Van Jefferson's in line. Where will Van Jefferson be a year from now? Will he be on the move as well? So you're kind of securing the situation. I think it's a good move for Allen. I mean, he had 2 productive years in 19 and 20 in Chicago, over 1,000 yards, so we know he can play. Last year was last year. It was a quarterback carousel going on in Chicago, but I'm happy for him. He landed on his feet in a good situation with the Rams.
I think it's an incredible move for the team and a player. I mean, Key, you said productive years in 19 and 20. He had 100 catches in each of those seasons. Well, 98
Well,
and
yeah,
102.
I mean,
that's pretty darn good.
Compared to
Right?
last year.
Come on, Key. Pretty darn good. I think the reality
He had great
is this.
years, Pro Bowl years.
Right. I think the reality is this. The Rams are banking on 2 of their receivers coming off of ACL surgery. Both Robert Woods and Odell Beckham are going to be coming off of that knee injury. So it not only gives them, you know, the security that if those guys start slow or potentially, God forbid, don't get back to what they want, but also if they do get back, you're talking about an offense with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Odell Beckham Jr., Cam Akers, now Allen Robinson, and Tyler Higbee, and Van Jefferson. I mean, it is another Super Bowl run.
You said Odell Beckham Jr. He's not on the team. Adam has said that they've left room for him. There's money for him. But what do you think about OBJ and maybe just knowing him a little bit as a guy, how he may feel about seeing this signing?
Well, I think the one thing that he felt like he showed last year was that he could still be extremely productive and also that he could fit into any locker room or any wide receiver room. But he's going to want the football. You know, they started to find ways to get him the football, especially down the stretch and in the playoffs. But now you had a guy like Allen Robinson. You're adding a guy who's been a number 1. And let's really think about it. He was the number 1 with Blake Bortles. He was the number 1 with Mitchell Trubisky. He was the number 1 with Nick Foles. And many of the other quarterbacks he's had to play with, he's never played with a guy like Matthew Stafford. He's never played with a guy like Cooper Kupp, who's going to demand double teams. And so when you start to really look at the numbers and you're the Los Angeles Rams, you think to yourself, do we really need Odell Beckham Jr.? And listen, that's hard for me to say because I know how talented he is. And I love him as a dude. I love him as a teammate. But when you start looking at numbers and the numbers of people on that team, what you've paid Allen Robinson, unless Odell Beckham Jr. decides that he's going to come back to the team for a very team-friendly deal, you may not be able to make that deal.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.